everyone. Thanks for joining us here today. I am joined by a few folks who will have an opportunity to speak and answer some questions. First, Frank Anacar, who's the Senior Vice President of Buses for MTA. We have Margaret Forgione, who's the first Deputy Commissioner for the city's DOT, a huge partner of ours, not only in buses, but all things transportation in the city, and a bus operator extraordinaire, Marcel Cancel, who will speak in a minute about not only an amazing 24-year career he's had with us driving buses in the Bronx, but also his experiences, some of which will be captured here in this video. But again, Rich Davey, President of New York City Transit, delighted to be here again today to talk about moving buses faster, and in particular in the Bronx. You know, since I became president a little over a year ago, we've talked about customer satisfaction as our North Star. Faster, cleaner, and safer service throughout the city for paratransit, for subways, and for buses. And one way to make service both safer and faster for our bus service is our automated bus lane enforcement, which we continue to roll out with great success across all 5 boroughs. Today we're here to announce and launch ABLE enforcement on the BX36, a bus route that carries tens of thousands of customers across the borough each and every day, and one where you'll see in a moment has had numerous challenges with cars parked in bus lanes, in bus stops, and in double parked cars. Not only does ABLE move buses more quickly, but our data over the last 2 years also shows that collisions drop dramatically. In other words, that it's safer for our customers, our passengers, and obviously for our operators as well. So we're delighted to continue to roll this out across the 5 boroughs. We have now over 500 buses that are enabled, if you will, and with the goal of getting to 1,000 buses by the end of the year. With that, I'm going to let Frank Anacar say a few words, and then we'll roll the video. Frank?
Good morning. Thank you, Rich. It's great to be here to celebrate the implementation of ABLE on the BX36, right on the heels of the recently the BX35 deployment. BX36 remains among the slowest, largely because the maneuver through traffic, double parked cars, delivery vehicles, and just overall bus stops being obstructed. Clearing our bus lanes will not end the problem, but it's an incredible start. Improving bus service right here is all more critical because these buses serve disproportionately low-income and minority New Yorkers who have limited options for getting to their destinations. Notably, 96% of these 5 Bronx ABLE routes travel through equity priority areas. This year alone, there have been over 50,000 ABLE violations issued in the Bronx, and we have seen speed increase up to 5% above the borough average, and more importantly, we've seen a 25% decrease in bus collisions relative to the ABLE enforced sections. Today, we are happy to be joined by, as Rich mentioned, by one of our stellar Bronx bus operators, Marcel Cancel, who has over 24 years experience and operates out of our Gun Hill Depot. Marcel, like his colleagues, has a very stressful job navigating the slalom course throughout our bus lanes and traffic here throughout the Bronx. Expanding ABLE critically is important, not only for him, but his 2,000 fellow bus operators that operate day in and day out throughout the Bronx. While this is an important opportunity to help speed up buses and make them work better for everyday Bronx residents, we rely on them. We also work closely with NYPD to target illegal driver behavior. And also, as Rich mentioned, we're working with our partners in DOT to prioritize street-level changes and create new busways and bus lanes. So thank you, and now I'll turn it over back to Rich.
Great. Thanks, Frank. And before we get to Marcel, I think we're going to roll the tape and watch some misbehavior. So sad, which I'll get to narrate. I wonder if this was the bus you were driving at. Probably. You should probably narrate it. All right, so what do we have here? Traffic, cars parked in our bus lane, and of course now the bus stuck. So you can see all those cars in the bus lane. Again, this guy's not sure exactly if he wants to be driving or parked. He's parked in the middle of the road. So our bus now has to go to the other side of the road to get around. here, again, cars, plethora of cars parked throughout. Someone's, I think, blinkers are on. That doesn't count. If you're parked in the bus lane and you're not a bus, get out. Same thing along here. I think most of this is the SBS 12, I think. But cars parked, and then coming out of the bus stop here, there's a bus lane ahead, and yet you've got a couple more cars parked. The bus should be going freely, but needs to get back into a lane of traffic. And again, you can see it here, the painted bus lane. The bus now has to curve around into traffic and pass a number of cars that are parked, and frankly, double parked in our bus lane. So, the new power that Albany has given us to not only ticket cars that are parked in bus lanes, which we've been doing, but also double parked cars and cars parked in bus lanes, will allow us again to make this both a safer trip and a faster trip for our over 1.5 million bus customers across the boroughs. So, with that, I want to kick it over to one of our amazing bus operators, a 24-year career. I always tell folks, having been at a couple agencies and worked in a few more, that I think the toughest job in the transit business is driving a bus, and I think the toughest job in the business is driving a bus in New York City. So we're going to hear firsthand how tough that job is, but how he does it with skill and professionalism and a smile, and talk a little bit about how Able is going to help. So, Marcel, please.
Good morning. My name is Mizell Cancel. I work at a Gun Hill Depot. I've been operating a New York City transit bus for 24 years. Like he just said, we face on a daily basis obstruction on bus stops and bus lanes that interfere not only with our safety, passenger safety, but also interferes with delay of service. For the past 24 years, I have to had numerous challenges regarding bus lanes, bus stops, trying to come into a bus stop safe, trying to pull out safe. All of my coworkers and my colleagues, we deal with this on a daily basis. So with that said, it's a struggle for me and my colleagues. On behalf of the passengers with disabilities, I feel for them too, because they also feel the pain when a bus is trying to get into a bus stop and is being blocked by a car and they can't have safe access to a bus. With that said, I would like to take this opportunity to let all the motorists know that can they please have a little bit of consideration for bus stops and bus lanes, and please keep them clear and free. With that said, I'll have a great day, and thank you for having me.
That's great. That's great. And finally, I failed to mention that all those folks that were illegally parked, thank you, all got tickets. So we look forward to your payment, and you're not repeating. So with that said, I think we'll take questions from Tim. Hi, Tracy. Indeed.
I want to talk about implementation when it comes to the Able cameras on this particular line. How soon can we expect to see this implementation on this line, and what will it entail?
Yeah, so we implemented it actually earlier this week. So it is live on the BX36. And what we typically do is give folks a warning period. We'll send them a warning in the mail for a few weeks and then turn on the fines thereafter. But we started Able enforcement now several years ago, and have rolled it out across all 5 boroughs, and it's been effective. I would say, our stats show that about 80% of New Yorkers who receive a ticket don't receive a second one. They get the message and their behavior changes, which is great. How much is the ticket? It steps up over time. I think it starts at $50 and maxes out at $250 if you get up to 5 tickets. So a pretty significant chunk of change. Again, we don't want to collect it. As Marcel said, we would much rather motorists stay out of the bus lanes for the time being.
Do you know if there's a specific neighborhood here in the Bronx or in a specific borough where you're seeing more of these violations happening?
No, I think it's probably equal opportunity, violations across the 5 boroughs. So no area in particular. I think what we have seen, though, is generally speaking, that behavior does change in all 5 boroughs. So once you get one ticket, folks' behavior changes, which is exactly what we want. So, but no misbehaving borough more than another.
Got it. And you said that there's over 500 of these implemented across. So you're wanting to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. Is that correct?
That's right. So we have about 6,000 buses in our fleet. The buses themselves don't have any indication as to whether or not they're ticketing. So, our goal is to get New Yorkers to, understand that any bus could be ticketing them at a time. But at this point, we're at to 500. We expect to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. Ah, wonderful.
Flew all the way up from there. Rich,
what happened to the Knicks? I guess that's terrible.
what happened to the Celtics?
Well, I mean, but I'm not wearing a Rocket shirt though. That's
Oh, this is just fashion.
Okay.
We're here in the Bronx,
Yes.
so I thought I'd be remiss to not ask you about another project that's going on, the MTA and the DOT are working
Yeah.
on, and see if you wanted to comment, send any kind of message or anything to any of the institutions that are coming out, being opposed to the Fordham Road bus lane. Any improvements that they have up there, Fordham University, the Botanical Gardens, the zoo, the bids. I mean, what do you say to them when they say that they won't accept any bus improvements?
Yeah, and I'll let the deputy commissioner speak to that as well. I could say this. I mean, we love bus lanes, right? We are transit professionals, and bus lanes move New York and keep New Yorkers safer. I think for those institutions, look, I went to 3 Jesuit institutions in my lifetime. I think Fordham signed on to this. I was actually disappointed to see Fordham signing on. Jesuit institutions are about equity and about social justice, and as the chair has often said, buses are the engines of equity. So, I think I'd ask those institutions to maybe think about, what they signed on to. Fordham Road is moving 85,000 New Yorkers every single day. To put that in context, Fordham Road, if it was his own bus system, would be larger than Cleveland or larger than St. Louis. Think about that. This is one corridor in New York City. So I think that, I would encourage those institutions to, give some thought about what they're supporting. But I know that, we're lockstep with the DOT, in particular on this route, to get preferential treatment for buses. But, Michelle, I'll let you speak as well.
Thank you. As President Davies says, there are 85,000 bus users every day on Fordham Road. It's very important to us and to New York City Transit to address the needs of these bus users and speed up their experience every day. We have a plan for an offset bus lane, which adds back a lot of parking, which facilitates keeping the bus lane clear. So we're going to continue to talk with all of the institutions involved, the community boards, the elected officials. We're going to refine our proposal and continue working to improve things for bus riders.
And I just curious. I mean, Margaret or Rich, does this have to happen this year? I mean, this has been a long-term project at this point that's been delayed by the pandemic, by various forms of outreach. When are bus riders going to get to see anything on the ground?
We're looking to expedite this process, yes.